Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is that Boom Bap Breakfast. Right here, this is the Remix Morning Show. Black Liberation Media, in case you didn't know. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and yes, we are ready to give it to you. Welcome out on this beautiful Thursday, 7-11, just like the stove. Now, let me introduce you to your host, no other than LJ. And burn it down, Kim Brown.
Brass monkey.
That funky monkey.
I don't know this one either, but it's good.
Monkey.
This was a 80s hip hop song that came out by some white boys that did punk music that transitioned into hip hop music by way of another white boy named Rick Rubin that was hanging out with a black guy named
Russell.
Kim Brown.
Russell. Listen, we can't cut Russell out of hip hop. You know what I mean? It's not possible, but we can throw that asterisk up there like we do with Barry Bonds with the home run record. Throw that asterisk up there next to Russell Simmons' name when we talk about hip hop. That's fine. Lots of asterisks.
I know. Asterisks all around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
man.
many.
Hey, good to see you, Kim. How you doing today?
Well, and yourself, good brother. How are you?
I am in the stupendous mood. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I love it. Sun's out, guns out.
Hey, you know,
my favorite season.
I see LJ rocking the Daisy Age shirt. I love it. You
know
what? She don't know nothing about that. You know about that De La Soul? Yeah. All right, we're gonna put you on. We're gonna put you on, LJ. Me and Kim gonna up your hip hop education.
Okay, I was a rock kid. I was a oldies kid. I was listening to a lot of like Motown and stuff like that. 'Cause that's my parents' generation. So I spent a lot of time in the 50s and 60s.
Good times to spend. Good times to spend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna. What Ear Doctor is saying, we need you to hang out with different old folks.
Gotcha.
Like old folks. Like okay, hang out with the Motown old folks, and you got to come kick it with the hip hop and old folks.
Yeah.
Okay. You know.
Speaking of hip hop old folks, come out, K. Franklin.
You mean knowledgeable hip hop folks? Knowledgeable.
Could that have been any perfect timing? I mean,
don't take that, Cabal. Don't take that, Cabal.
I know. Well, but he got the guns out again. That means he's been hitting the gym again. The tie dye. With the tie dye.
You know, we taking it back. Me and LJ, we got the Daisy Age.
Oh, the Daisy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We was explaining De La Soul to her.
And I was
you have to go. You have an assignment, dearest. Your assignment is to go watch the name of the song is called Buddy. It's the Buddy remix with the native tongues, and it's Jungle Brothers. Who else is in there? Latifah.
Leaders.
Leaders of the New School. Yeah. Tribe Called Quest. It's the greatest video, Lucretia. Like it's the video that I looked at for, when I was looking at people come out age and wishing I was older and cooler like them. These Bamas look like they are having like the best fun in this video. They are having so much fun. You'll really like it.
Are you gonna tell me what the song is about?
Tribe, Modi Love, Latifah.
The Buddy. It's about your sex buddy, right?
Yeah.
Your friends with benefits.
A male penis. No, it's not.
Wow.
And it's a female too. It's both. Buddy is both.
I think Buddy is gender neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, Buddy's gender neutral.
Mm-hmm,
Yup, it's that.
I just heard of Buddy 3 seconds ago.
Well, I'm just thinking about how I would use Buddy, and I feel like I would like my buddy. Gender neutral. Yeah.
True.
I used to have a dog called My Buddy back in the day too. Boy, my buddy.
They sure did, and they only came in white. Wasn't no black buddies. Wasn't no black buddies. Dog, you remember? Well, y'all don't remember. I remember. Can I shout out to my late 70s Gen X's? Y'all remember how excited we was when they actually put out a black Cabbage Patch? We were like, nigga, what?
Wow. You remember those lines to get Cabbage Patch?
They
I actually
coming
went down.
back.
You reminded me, Kim. I went down a rabbit hole this week of American Girl dolls because that was big when I was a kid, and like they were talking about Addie, and they were like, her introduction is, and she won the spelling bee, but they left out the part where she escaped slavery, and like this doll escaped slavery.
She's a smart Negro.
Like, yeah.
That was part of her backstory, though.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They were like, we need a black doll, and she's gonna represent what? 1864.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
1865.
What
Yeah.
was the messages being sent to little black girls of your generation?
And I bought my
God.
daughter American. Them dolls are expensive too, yo.
Yeah. They're pretty expensive. And the other doll, this I only know about her because she was popular everywhere. Felicity, she had, I think it was her grandpa who ran a plantation. So it's like,
Are you serious?
yes, that's how she's wealthy, and she has horses. Like,
Whoa.
you know,
I've heard of these things, but I had no idea the backstories were like that. Those were the backstories.
Yeah, Ricky's talking about it in the chat. She's living as a free person in Philadelphia.
Oh shit! Wow.
And I was like, wait, I have to go down this rabbit hole. So that's, my weekend. I'm gonna go down the American Doll rabbit hole.
And De La Soul.
You're right,
Buddy.
De La Soul.
Buddy. Don't
And De
forget.
La Soul, yeah.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
forget.
Felicity. So which one on the plantation was it? Francis? I can't remember. I'll come back. I'll
Damn,
remember.
Ricky.
I don't
Ricky was
even
like,
know why.
Felicity was a Dutch settler, not a plantation owner.
I thought
Why
that
did
was
she know?
Samantha. I could be off.
But how on brand for a doll line titled American Doll? Why even have a slavery narrative? Why put this into children's stuff at all? Like, I
give him
mean,
credit. I give him credit. Hopefully maybe it led to people to explore like what the fuck is this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they had the books and they had the like outfits, but my parents are like, that's way too expensive. We're not getting you. And
So the books, were they children books? And
Yeah.
told
Like,
stories, and then they
from
merged
a
them into the doll?
woman. Yeah, no, there was a woman who really wanted, I think I can't remember where her work was, but she wanted to do like children's history and American history specifically and get kids interested. So she started with like writing stories that feature like 10, 11-year-old girls so they could be interested in it. And then she's like, wait, if I pair a doll with it, they'll absolutely buy it. So they had like different eras. Like there was a doll who was in World War II. There was a doll who was in like colonial America. Addie was the slavery doll. And then they had other ones in different eras of American history. And that was the only black one that I remember.
I mean, listen, y'all. We was cheering for Dukes of Hazzard. Let's not front.
Oh.
But I didn't know no better though. I didn't know. I guess that's the yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even with Dukes of Hazzard, and then I was thinking, damn, why are we always cheering cops? It's always so many cop movies, Bad Boys, Beverly Hills Cop. But this is me going out.
but they're bad cops though, right? Like they're not good cops. I mean, as in not whatever quality.
Cop is a cop, ain't it?
Like, I mean, but Axel Foley would be out here blowing up shit. I just watched Beverly Hills Cop. It was good. It was
funny to see old ass Eddie they would anytime they had him jump, they would cut away to his feet because it wasn't him doing that.
And they played the old soundtrack too. I was like, wow.
I dug that.
I'm
dug it.
Still trying to figure out what the hell was a neutron dance. I have not seen this dance anywhere in my years.
Ooh.
Doing the neutron dance. Pointer Sisters.
Love them. Bonnie.
Yes.
But to Lucretia's point about the American Girl dolls, I feel as though white women of your age range, Lucretia, just grew up to have their weddings at plantations, right? Like they
did.
Oh, I love this concept of the growing up on the plantation. Let me let me get married on such a place.
DJ many
Not let me explore the history of slavery and all the ills that came out of it and how that is like, wow, plantations. They seem
what a
fun.
beautiful place to get married. Yeah.
Married, yeah.
It's a lot of housing complexes called the plantations down here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
Yo, yeah, right in Buckhead. Right up by the mall is one called the Plantation. It's a big house.
There's a few that used to be plantations. There's a lot of plantations down here that used to be plantations.
Yeah, I was
Straight
about to
up.
say. No subtlety. You know what I'm saying? I like
Not at
the
all.
directness of it.
I mean, I live 30 minutes away from a mountain that's dedicated to the whole fucking Confederacy that has their pictures, their street names after it. That is completely now populated by Black people using it as a weekend camping and hiking and get out and have fun spot.
Well.
Yeah.
Well,
People just ignore it. You know what I mean? You just ignore it.
when the R word time comes, you know, we have to make sure we got some people that can do away with that. Like that's one of the things that must that has to come down.
Cool. That would be a cool, if somebody did a direct action and boom, blew up the whole face thing.
Damn. Well, I was trying to be subtle with the shit.
When
come
you
out.
see a picture of like Mount Rushmore and like those faces, and you see the rest of it, that's the most Caucasian-y thing I have ever seen. Like, how dare you put these faces on this beautiful mountain? And it's like a tiny little,
No, that would also be fantastic. In fact, that would be more fantastic for that one to get blown up.
That would be more fantastic.
Yeah.
That and you got to do Rushmore at the same time. Our indigenous brothers and sisters will tell you like that is really hollowed ground where they put Mount Rushmore, and that shit needs to go also.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I was thinking of a new segment called "Entertainers in Politics."
Oh shit!
I was
why?
No. Let's hear this out.
So I was thinking about, is a call out for women. The women need to save us. And let's go to one of our entertainers that have a lot of ears out there and check out what he had to say.
Great again is code.
Stop. Wait a minute. Stop. Wait a minute. So you didn't think of the segment. You already planned this and decided to do this. This wasn't just a thought. This is an actual action.
I wake up early and produce shows. Hello.
Okay. My bad.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
You done?
Okay. Yes.
Right.
It's not code. It's blatant. Have you seen that rally? Yeah. Man, it made me not want to wear red, white, and blue for a while. That rally. Yeah. The things that were being said. Those T-shirts. I mean, when you see some of the things that are being said, not just about my culture, but about women. And I'm telling you, I've had my fair share of songs that would make some of you lift an eyebrow, but it was in the spirit of dancing. It was in the spirit of having fun. And I've had 60 and 70-year-old women come up to me and tell me, I like that, drop it like it's hot. There's some other people out there and we know where they're coming from too. And I'm praying that women come together and save this nation.
Oh, shut up.
When you think about the destructive things that have come from mankind, mostly men. It's not women that are running up in our schools shooting our kids up. And it's just on the line. It's on the line right now. It's crazy the men that say some of the things that they say and do some of the things that they do. They forget how much women have to carry.
And yet here you are. They forget how much women have to carry. So we need women to save us all. Women, we understand how much you have to carry. Now carry some other stuff. Come save us all.
Here's the load.
Shut up. Shut your face. Shut it up. Who was that? Pharrell? I didn't recognize him with a fan.
I was saving that for you, Kim.
Oh man, and I like Pharrell. I don't think. Well, he's minimally problematic, right? Like he's
so far, I think minimally problematic. Yeah,
that's the best you
can.
A little
Lego movie coming out,
maybe with a little asterisk, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand what is this obsession to have women do more work. I don't. Yeah, someone. I need a man to explain this to me. Like, if we just had women do more, if women would just, step up, if we could have women lead us.
He's Zionist, deeply problematic. I'm seeing from the chat. Then.
Oh, really? Pharrell. Okay. Well. All right.
Okay.
Got it.
So.
Ear Doctor, you played this for a reason. Tell me the point you were trying to make here.
Segue. You were. Yeah.
I was just bringing it up. I seen it and I was like, wow, women saving us. They always say, women pretty much can stop a lot of things. They say they start wars because guys' egos can't handle certain things, so they'll do stuff to,
How could a
oppress
woman
women.
stop that? You're saying by what? The Spike Lee method? Was that bad movie? And she could the one where like he made the movie about what was it, like drugs in Chicago or something, and the women got together and decided to stop
Oh
having
yes, the movie with
this movie.
Nick Cannon
Oh,
and
I
Chirac.
I never saw that movie. I was
Chirac. They was
put
like,
off
we're
by
gonna
the
stop
title.
the violence by not giving guys nookie.
Sex, yeah,
Yes.
that was Spike Lee's plot.
So that goes back to the women step their game up, then we won't have these problems.
Whoa,
Right?
whoa,
This not me saying it. This is
Uh,
not me. This is the
no,
message getting out
How
there.
many wars
no.
we could have stopped if women had only
Mm-hmm.
we
finished
had
that
only.
sentence?
If women had
It's
only.
all your fault.
Let me tell you something.
You know why we say that? Because it makes us feel better. We can say shit like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
So this is not a direct correlation, but there is something happening on social media where apparently a young rapper in Chicago was murdered. And the story that's flying around Facebook and TikTok is that he was allegedly set up by this young woman who was texting his ops
Mm-hmm.
and dropping his low. I'm listening. I'm like, I can't understand what these children are saying, but that's what anyway. So the young woman apparently dropped the location of this rapper while he was getting his hair done. He came outside, he was murdered. So instead of now, I guess, trying to find the people that actually shot him, the streets is looking for this young woman because she backdoored him and now she's on the run eating. People are supposed to be looking for her, like threatening her life, and threatening the life of her family and people that she knows, etc. But it's interesting to me that her life is being threatened, not the actual people that shot and killed the boy.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the ways that women are the blame, period, no matter what. How can men don't like women enough to listen to us? So how can we lead y'all anywhere? Like y'all gonna ask us, are we on our period and are we rational today? You know what I mean? Like we can't lead y'all nowhere. Y'all don't want to listen to women. Too many men hate women, don't trust women, don't like women, and could never be led by one.
I just asked that question. But anyway.
What was the question you asked?
What do you think was the question?
My daughter was
I mean, he was.
bit
Oh, you.
she was a little bit. I was like, it's that time of month, ain't it? And it was.
Blah.
But that don't mean nothing.
Yeah. I just don't have any other words other than blah.
Like,
I took a far step back from the conversation.
See you like
let him
Homer Simpson in the bushes. Like
you do you doctor. You do you.
I mean, I'll just say gender is a construct that we abide by, socially constructed, and asking these questions of will men save us, will women save us, I think are disingenuous. And I think that's why people are here, because they want to hear like actual answers to our problems and not like, can women save us, this like very nebulous concept. So that's how I land.
Or look even historically at instances in which women have either been placed in leadership roles in our movements. I'm thinking every time I hear Ella Baker's story and the way that she was treated by the men in the SCLC, right? That shit makes me mad. Like that shit really infuriates me because them niggas was so condescending and rude to her and trying to undercut her and just dismissive of her only because she was a woman. And she was trying to lead these niggas to freedom, and they said, "No, we don't follow bitches." And she said, "All right, leave y'all fucking." Anyway, we calm down.
I take it as, for me, what everything shows is that women and men, and obviously not taking away from the dominance that men have over society and over the women population, as constructed as that may be. Still, even when there is women leadership, they are capable of great things and terrible things, just like everybody else. So I don't, so I don't ask women to save the planet because I don't think women nor men have any special insight other than being human beings on the planet to save the planet. Although there may be certain insights that women have about their relationship vis-a-vis men. And so therefore, I do think that women probably can point out the things that men are blinded by because society has taught them something better than what men can do themselves. But whether or not that means that any particular part of a human groups or subgroupings where it can load up everybody on their back and save something, hell no. Because everybody has emotions, everybody has ideas, everybody is seeking some sense of power, and all that shit can go sideways in a hot second. And it doesn't matter about your gender, your sexuality, your anything. It all can go sideways because human beings will continue to make the mistakes that we all make. And provide good leadership in some ways that we all can provide at times. So I think some of the biggest thing is about making sure that there's the openings for everybody to express, be themselves, participate in the ways in which they want to participate. And like you said, and can like not be derailed simply because they look different from the people who've led in the past.
With all that said, that's why we have the Remix Morning Show, y'all. And that's why you see men, women, we all here.
Thank you.
We are not all here. We need some. We need a gender non-conforming person to come rep, because we're not all here, right? We have men here, we have women here. We don't have everybody. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Well, I am actually non-binary, so you do
Why
have.
are you disrespecting LJ on the screen?
You do have us.
I did not know that's how LJ identified. Thank you for sharing that, LJ. I was not aware.
Now back to Ear Doctor's ramblings.
Like now, but by doing it that way, Lakeisha, you let Ear Doctor come out like he was.
I know.
Profound.
I know.
I mean, don't I usually?
He's got a big smile on his face.
I know he's so happy now.
I mean, don't I usually? You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Wow.
I'm glad y'all came to the gun show. We out of here. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to get to some news and all that stuff right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show.
With that homemade jersey.
All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And please hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, and get footage that's rare. And share like you care. All right, boom. So here's what I wanted to do. You know, sometimes I like to go into the record store, and I like to pick out some different artists. Now, sometimes I like to pick out artists that's you might not know, but then I like to pick out artists you do know. And what I wanted to give you is my top 3 albums for one artist. And who am I talking about? Let's talk about Sade. That's right, Kamal's favorite singer ever. All right, so boom, let me talk about her. So she got my top three picks. I'm going to start with let me bring this around so you can see also. Boom. So my top 3 picks is, first we're going to start off number 3, which is Diamond Life. Now, Diamond Life was an album that had Smooth Operator, Hang On to Your Love is King, yeah, and it has some, so that was that one. Now, my number 2 is tied up with Lovers Rock and Promise. Now, let me put you on the Promise, which came out in 1985. Now that has Is It a Crime on it, The Sweetest Taboo, Never As Good as the First Time, and Jezebel. So that had like some bangers on it. But then you go to Lovers Rock that came out in 2000. Oh my goodness, it had By Your Side, it had All About Our Love, what you hearing right now, and it had King of Sorrow. Man, it had a bunch of Lovers Rock. It was a banger. And like I said, Promise also was a banger. But my number 1 is Stronger Than Pride. Stronger Than Pride had Love Is Stronger Than Pride, Nothing Could Come Between Us, Turn My Back on You, Give It Up, Paradise, man, Keep Looking. So many bangers. So if you ever want to go and listen to some Sade and you want to start from some of her best to maybe not, but she doesn't have no not best because it's all banging. And after all that, just go to her deluxe and you get all the best ones. All right, boom. So with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning crew. Now we do. Yeah.
It's all about
because Kamal was gonna be here.
Oh,
Go ahead and let the chopper sing, Kamal.
wow.
Go
Is
ahead and
that?
get out your system.
No. I mean, she had some pretty good songs that that she did. She was an adequate singer, and she was in an adequate band. So
Wow,
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that got her
Adequate.
over during the day that made
ice
her
cold.
Listen,
well known.
listen. I think that Sade and Beyonce. I think there's a lot of artists that have benefited from colorism, and I think that we can acknowledge that at the same time and say that they also put out good art
Mm-hmm.
whilst also benefiting from the colorism, right?
Well,
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, I actually think Beyonce's more talented than Sade.
You were out your
you're
reverend.
you
Come
know I
on.
disagree
What?
with
What are you
that.
talking? What are you talking about? How is that not true?
Well, Beyonce
Beyonce,
was
Beyonce,
good.
Beyonce can do. She writes, she sings, she dances. She's an incredible performer. How can you say she doesn't have more artistic talent than a Sade who just stands there and slowly moans out songs?
But that's what Whitney Houston did. Didn't Whitney
Yes.
Houston?
Thank you.
Isn't that
Thank
No,
what
you.
Mariah
Thank
Carey
you're
you.
does?
Thank you.
comparing someone with the range of a Whitney Houston
We
to a
talking about
moaner,
movement on
like somebody
stage.
who basically heavy breathes into a song. Is
Okay,
that
we
what you're
talking
I
about
think
movement on
women with low
stage.
register voices don't get a lot of love either. The altos, the like low tone. Like I love Toni Braxton for that reason, like for alto
also better than
singing.
Sade? Also better than Sade, yes.
I don't know. I don't think
Your
so.
love is king. Your love
Let me tell
is
you something.
You don't like it when
king.
women do it, but you love it when men do
Ooh,
it, quote
Right.
unquote, right? Like,
Oh,
ooh, ooh,
Oh,
ooh,
uh-oh,
ooh.
uh-oh.
okay.
I love
yeah,
singers. I love
there's
singers.
that gender comment for you. Yeah.
I love
But
singers
Oh,
of all octaves who can
hmm
actually sing.
okay.
like
Not
Barry
who are
White.
like, your love is king.
I've seen
Oh,
Sade
no.
live in concert. She is amazing. Like she is as good as advertised, if not better. And I respect anybody that only shows up to work every 10 years. I said, look at a queen. Look at a queen. Queen said it's 2034. Let me get back out here on this road. But no, Air Doctor, your list I mostly agree with the exception of the exclusion of Bulletproof Soul, which is an opus. I feel
Mm,
as though Bulletproof Soul, in addition, like I love Stronger Than Pride. It's one of my favorite albums. I love Paradise.
mm.
I have Diamond Life hanging on my wall right now. Like Sade absolutely has a legacy of a catalog that if you are not familiar with, you should get into, especially our younger viewers. Because if you like these whisper bitches, you will love Sade. Okay, like you you will love who's some of these whisper bitches, LJ. Who is it? Give me
She
one.
don't listen to them.
Yeah, she does.
No, she don't.
I don't know. Does Anita Baker count?
Uh,
That's old school.
how
Anybody,
dare
Exactly.
you
yeah.
call
Oh, you
Anita
mean
Baker
young?
a whisper bitch? All right, Lucretia, I'm about to pull up. Come outside.
The yawn queen.
And
All right,
Wait,
what?
wait.
Now, speaking of low registered voices who can really throw down, Anita Baker,
I
That's what
love
I'm
Anita
talking about. The
Baker.
who
yawn queen.
doesn't get the credit that a Sade gets far more credit for her
She
so-called low
held down
registered
2
voice.
decades, man. 80s and 90s.
Who
Mhm.
did?
Sade.
Held down.
Anita only had 1 decade.
She didn't hold down shit.
Yeah, she
She didn't
did.
hold down. She got lifted up on somebody's shoulders for 2 decades.
Whoa.
She didn't hold down
Whoa.
nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. When you
Whisper
mention
bitches.
R&B in the
Oh,
80s, you mentioned Sade, you mentioned Luther, you mentioned Freddie Jackson,
And notice you
and you
don't say
mentioned
Anita Baker.
and you
Notice you
mentioned
don't. And
Anita. I
Anita
was getting
Baker, yeah,
getting to
Look
Anita.
how long it took you to get to her.
Well, I
Anita
mean,
Baker was a singing sensation who, as Kim said, gave it up, gave it all up.
Shirley Caesar, or that's gospel, but yeah, I like her a lot.
Rapture. If you're old enough to remember, you guys remember how huge a record Rapture was.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Every auntie and mama had Rapture. Anita, she was in like
Mhm.
she was in the black teddy, and she's like,
Yeah. Everybody loved Anita Baker.
called
She
her-
even had a haircut named after her, yo.
right.
Straight up.
Oh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why people don't remember her like that? But
They
Sade,
do. They remember the 80s,
No,
but they don't
no.
remember her in the 90s like they do Sade when she came
Nobody
out with
remember
that
no Sade.
Cherish the Day on y'all
And
asses.
cherish the day on
What?
y'all niggas. Woo!
Listen.
Anita
Oh,
Baker such a
Sade.
word. See, this is the bullshit.
Anyway. All right, so that's my top 3 albums
From
for really.
Sade.
Where's
by
your top
Sade.
3 for Anita Baker? You done Sade like 5 times on this program. Have you ever even mentioned Anita Baker's name before today?
Wow.
I yawned a couple times. I did Anita's
Hey.
songs.
Calm down with all that.
Anyway.
Wow.
We love.
Yeah.
You talk about one move. This is it. That's Anita's move.
That's all she needed, though. She had an
That's
actual
all you
voice.
need to rock sometimes.
She had
You
an
just gotta
actual
like
voice.
rock it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need her to go. She had an actual voice.
All right.
Sade just stood there and I don't know.
And looked good. You're right.
There you go.
And belted. And belted out some music.
Does belt out
Belted.
music.
Oh my God, Janet also whispers. Sorry, I'm in
Janet whispers?
Oh yeah, she does. Janet whispers. She was.
Case can be made. Yes.
She is a whisperer.
Or she tried to disguise the
brother
fact that she
too.
can't really sing, so she's singing really low.
Yeah.
That could be the fact also. All those things can be true. Yes.
But I would love it. But she was the queen. Yeah, I remember Janet. Yeah. In fact, she was Beyonce before Beyonce.
Let's wait
Absolutely.
a while. Y'all
Yeah, I
remember that
think so,
video?
yeah.
Oof. My God. Her and that
Velvet Rope
cat
Tour was not for my age group, but I was watching it. So
Yeah, she
you
was
know.
wild.
No,
I was
Janet was
young.
an icon. She was a cultural icon, fashion icon, you know,
Mhm.
dancing icon, body icon. Like, you know,
Mhm, mhm.
everybody was like, Janet.
Yeah.
Is it true that
Plus
she
the
got her
principal
ribs removed?
video.
Is that true?
That was the rumor.
What? That she was knocked up by Kamal's brother?
That was the other rumor.
Yeah, she did have a baby by that dude, right?
No,
No,
I was
she
asking
act-
about
yeah.
the surgery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The rib
What's-
But the
removal
rib,
surgery.
but there was the rumor that Janet had like the rib taken out or some crazy shit or something like that.
Yikes.
I remember that rumor. I have no,
Wow.
I don't know who's, but I remember that rumor.
Hey,
Well, the
she-
plastic surgery rumors were flying in the night. Like I mean, because you know, Michael was the catalyst of all of that. Like, look at everything, these people, and you know, everyone just assumed that all the Jacksons. And if you look at the Jacksons, yes, a case can be made. Maybe all of them did have their noses done. From Latoya, look at Jermaine ass. It's like y'all, these ain't y'all natural Negro. No,
only
no,
one who couldn't afford it was Tito. He was like,
Exactly.
you know what? I'm gonna keep
Exactly.
Why didn't they?
Tito.
No,
was like,
he's
"Listen,
exactly
I'ma-
right. Tito
I'ma-
couldn't afford shit.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep,
right.
and maybe Marlon. Marlon might have been like, you know what? I'm gonna keep the nose. It's too much.
Marley couldn't afford it either. Well, did he have some song called Gypsy or something? I mean, some Gypsy
Oh
dance?
wow,
Yeah.
you took
No,
it back,
no,
Gypsy.
no,
Or was that
no.
Jermaine? No, Jermaine had
No,
the
that
song.
wasn't Jermaine. Jermaine had a couple of hits, actually.
He had some hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Marlon, damn, that was Gypsy or some shit
Mhm,
like that.
mhm.
Wow, look
you
at
got to
you
do
now.
Jermaine Jackson as an artist spotlight. You got to do Jermaine Jackson because
Okay.
people
Yeah,
don't.
yes.
You
Kids
right.
don't believe us that Jermaine had a career. And
Yeah, and he was out here dating Iman back in the day. Yeah,
really,
yeah. Don't sleep on Jermaine with that wood hairdo. Dude look like he's wood or
Yeah, I don't know
mahogany.
what the fuck he did with that.
His face looked like he's mahogany wood with
It looked like he got
lacquer
some-
on the top.
Shellac in his hair or his head.
the finger waves with cement. I don't know. I'm like, how did you get your hair like
Like,
that?
it's not even his hair. He put wax on some wig or whatever.
It's a hat. It's a wooden hat.
It's something. I was like, this you look cray right now, my man.
Yeah, he's a
Cray.
wild dude. And
And
I
he
just,
he turned Muslim too. Is he Muslim?
he might be.
I think
I
one
think
of them
he did.
is.
Heard
I'm sure it's fake.
No.
Yeah. Well, wassalamu alaikum to that brother.
No.
All right, let me get up out of here. I'll catch you on the next break. Peace.
Oh wow.
Ah, that was good. I like that. Yes, Rebe Jax. I loved Rebe. Loved her. I
Did
don't
she
know
do
why.
something to her nose? Did Rebe kept her nose, right?
I think Rebe kept her nose,
Okay.
and she was the centipede. You know what I'm saying? That's all that. Also,
Yeah, Centipede
anytime
couldn't
that
get her
song
that.
comes on, I blast it. I blast that centipede song.
When you say every time it comes on,
Station.
Every 5 years.
how often? What's
Every
every 10, every 20 years when it comes on? I have never heard this song that you're talking about.
It comes on occasions. It does.
What are
It
you
does.
listening to? Oh,
It does. It does. It comes every now and then. Then they play the song. Yeah. Love that.
you have to
Love
sing
that.
it for us as an opening one day, Kamal.
I will. Oh, I will. And crawling like a it's like, oh my God, it was great when that came out.
It sounded like Vanity when she was singing in Last Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yuck.
See, anyway. See, I was gonna say Vanity. Vanity. No, was that Vanity 6 who dropped Nasty Girl?
Yeah.
A
The
jam.
song. Now that was a song of the decade.
A jam.
Never had another real hit after that, but that
Didn't
was
need one actually, because that joint stands alone. Nasty Girl. Lucretia, you should go turn up this song when you get off the air.
Okay.
But you have to
and it
turn it
still
up way
bangs
loud.
today when they play. Yeah, it still bangs.
Yes, it
Love it.
bangs. That it bangs. It bangs. And kids, if you ever want to see your dads and your uncles start talking about being a nasty girl, they will turn the song on. I've never seen men love this song. There is something about Nasty Girl that men love this song. That's right. Pleased to meet you. Still won't tell you my name. I know every man over 40 will sing this song like as if they
In their
are.
head, yeah, 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 yeah.
They
Especially
love
when the part comes on and be like, tonight, living in the fancy.
it.
We all get up in the high octaves. We
Yes,
all get up in the high octaves. Yes.
and they all dance it. It is a sight. Every man I know loves Nasty Girl.
Mhm.
Love it. But anyway, let's stop being some nasty girls, boys, and non-binary folks. Let's get into this news.
Yeah.
Should have never gave you niggas AI.
Right?
Never gave you niggas AI.
Oh, so you
Like
went back. You went back and put the other one on. Because that was that's
Yeah,
Stay By,
y'all
right?
complain so much. We
Thank
gonna have a
you.
new one every other day. Fucking
Well,
with me.
I like it.
let me also add my voice to the complaints. I have a new complaint. You know what I'm saying? Let me sing some Nirvana. Hey, wait, I got a new complaint. Ear doctor, at least make it funky like some you know how like the old school news stations go? It's Action 10 News, Channel 10 Action News. Can we make it like funky, like black, like but black though, but make it black.
Mm.
Work
Can
on
you-
that. Work on that. Anyway, guys, the time is nigh. It is now 8:37 here on the East Coast. We are looking at Thursday, July 11th. 7-11. Roll it twice. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. It's the Remix Morning Show, Black Liberation Media. We've got a full house today. The brother, Kamau Franklin, is in the house. LJ is in the house. Kim Brown is in the house. Big up to the Ear Doctor Remixers. You guys are also in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Engage with us, man. We 40K deep out this joint, 40-ounce bounce out this biatch. So listen, we want to thank all 40,000 of you for rocking with us, subscribing with us, learning with us, growing with us throughout these past 3.5 years. We're going to keep that pushing. Next benchmark, 50K. Let's get there sooner than later. Please,
True, that's
thank
true.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some good news for you guys. Well, it may not be good, but we have some
Yeah.
news. We do have news. So thank you guys so much for being here. I don't know if anybody wants to get started. Kamau, I think I sent you an email.
You did. I have those.
Beautiful. Can we start with the article, the second one, please?
The meta one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Did you guys do this yesterday? I watched yesterday, but I think I saw you guys do this one.
No.
No, we did not.
Well, give us your James Earl Jones, my brother.
What is the okay. Meta to remove posts targeting Zionists with anti-Semitic tropes. Oh boy. Meta expanded its policy around posts that target Zionists to ban speech that uses the term in a way that uses anti-Semitic tropes or other threatening language against Jews or Israelis, the company said on Tuesday. The policy expands posts targeting Zionists will be removed based on how the term is treated, compared to Meta's previous hate speech policy that more narrowly banned the term when it was used as a stand-in proxy term for Jewish or Israeli people. Going forward, we will remove content attacking Zionists when it is not explicitly about the political movement, but instead uses anti-Semitic tropes or threatens other types of harm through intimidation or violence directed against Jews or Israelis under the guise of attacking Zionists, the company said in a blog post. For example, posts attacking Zionists with dehumanizing comparisons, denials of existence, or claims about running the world, controlling the media will be removed under the updated policy, Meta said. Meta said it revised it revised use of the term at various times in recent years, including in March 2024 policy formed, giving a lack of global consensus on what people may mean when they use the term Zionist. The company made the update based on our research, engagement, and on platform investigations into its use as a proxy term for Jewish people and Israelis in relation to certain types of hateful attacks, according to the blog post. Well, there you go.
So
Basically, you can't say Zionist.
all y'all anti-Zionists on Facebook, so y'all
Or Instagram.
or
Or
Instagram.
Instagram.
Or Threads, for those of you who are on Threads. Yeah.
I had to leave. Yeah.
Oh, you jumped on that?
I was on it and then I couldn't handle it. So I had to leave. It's like I have to get out of here.
That
But
is like
yeah.
the fourth update I've seen about their retreating or recategorizing Zionists to basically take down posts. I've yet to see one about the Islamophobia,
Oh, man.
about Palestinians, about anything of the nature, even though, again, in this country, 3 or 4 different times we've heard the stories, at least that we've heard publicly, of Palestinians being shot, literally attempting to be drowned, killed. But none of that impacts any post on the religion of Islam, Palestinians themselves. Interesting.
Or when Israelis or members of the, Israeli government publicly call Palestinians vermin, using clear dehumanizing language. I mean, is that going to be targeted with the same scrutiny here for Meta? Like, are we going to be like what? It's just the slippery slope continues to get even slipperier, and this insistence of not only the U.S. government but corporations to try to narrowly define anti-Semitism, but it comes out as censorship. It's just very striking how this continues to develop and evolve to make sure that people that are being critical of Zionism now have less space to do so.
And I think also, I mean, we have the two presidential candidates using Palestinian as a slur on TV in front of everyone. I feel like it's completely unserious. And it really makes our work, I think, even harder as we talk to people and try to help them distinguish between Zionism and Judaism and anti Semitism, which we are against. So it's like, anytime Israel is equated with being the end all be all of a place you can't criticize, I think that really it hampers efforts. But I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to the propaganda by seeing things on TikTok or seeing actual Palestinian voices.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, and I think that's one reason why they have done what they can to take away people's ability to talk openly about some of these topics, is because, again, for one of the first times in history, this information is filtered through that much faster because people on their social media threads actually see in real time these things happening, which is a lot different than how they're portrayed in the New York Times or when they watch ABC, NBC, when they watch news stations. And so people can see for themselves something that they were literally was hidden from them otherwise. And so the narrative they can't control as well as they used to. And so then they come up with these reasons how they're protecting Jewish folks or stopping anti-Semitism, when really it's quite clear that what they're trying to do is to stop people from having an analysis of what Zionism is, who Zionists are, what is the history, the Southern colonial history, and how it relates to the United States protection of the state of Israel and Zionists, even though, again, time after time, you've seen some of the most disgusting and horrifying images coming out of Israel of Palestinians being slaughtered, being roped up and put on hoods of cars, children being killed, hospitals being bombed. All of that, we're supposed to look the other way because our elite leadership is telling us that Israel is good, Zionism is anti-Semitism, and if you say anything different, you are an anti-Semite.
Mm.
And
And
also, go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead, LJ.
I was just going to say that I feel like this part too of the confusion around, Zionism, anti-Semitism. Of course, you don't need to push a lot of Americans to start producing anti-Semitic material. Like you can just, it's there in the fabric. The U.S. has always had an anti-Semitism problem, and of course, this hurts Jews everywhere. We had and Palestinians with equating that there is some grand agenda to both murder Jewish people more than they have, like, historically done. And these incidents of violence that get kind of like against Palestinians, like the murder or the attempted murder of those children at the pool by that woman, the drowning of those children, the murder of 6-year-old Waddell, like these are kind of like shrugged as sort of, oh, so sad, but there's not a larger response against the violence against Palestinians.
Mm-hmm. And I think Facebook taking this step to ban or flag Zionism as a term, because that's where most people use social media, right? Still, I think Facebook still the biggest platform, everybody? Well, I think TikTok is the biggest platform, but then I think Facebook is right number 2, and then Instagram, Twitter, etc. But a lot of older folks, middle age and older, are on Facebook. And I think
Mhm.
being able to discuss Zionism and people, Americans, for the first time getting a broader clarity of it, even though it's still limited, but it's more broad than it maybe has ever been. For Facebook to target Zionism as a term, to chill that kind of conversation and those discussions and the sharing of that kind of nuance is so intentional. And I don't want to say because Mark, his last name, because I don't want to say that, though it kind of that may not be that far of a reach. But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, there's definitely an alliance, but even an open anti-Semite like Elon Musk, right, was made to heal, and also, like, he did a whole visit to Israel, and so and he's an open anti-Semite, right, but he was brought back into like an establishment posture, because of an understanding of of being targeted himself for things, like for rightfully being targeted or whatever. But all these social media platforms, whether they're run by open anti-Semitic people or people who believe they are protecting Jewish folks, all get the message in terms of big business, which is in order to, again, create the narrative that they are out here to create, that everything is fine, look the other way, get back to your shopping, or get back to your cute videos of people dancing, or get back to your videos of putting up your favorite animal. That we need to stop people from investigating what's happening in the world, because that's just not your job. Your job is to post pictures of your family, is to catch up on anniversaries, it is to buy furniture and so forth. That's your only role in this society. And then when you step outside of it, we'll have to do things to either punish you for it, or to make you feel like you're on the wrong side if you start examining it, and that you'll call you names, or we'll just block your access altogether, right? So this is an open war that is around trying to control a narrative that they feel that they have already lost. And I think they have lost that narrative, obviously, when you have millions of people who are out in the streets all around the world. It still has not stopped the genocide from taking place, but it is exposed it in a certain way, that is exposed, again, the history of Israel, the history of Zionism, its connection to settler colonialism, its connection to the United States, and the role of Israel in vis-a-vis Western capitalist domination. And you can't put that back in the bag. Now, the question becomes, what happens with all that energy? Does it get organized even more so? And is it able to stop governments from protecting and funding Israel? Is it able to stop these corporations from hiding behind a banner of anti-Semitism, to stop real conversations about what Zionism is? So, I think those are some of the next steps that hopefully can come out of this.
Yep. Your doctor has my story if we're ready to move on, that he will
It,
pull up. Oh,
you got the story, your doc. There you go.
okay. Yeah. So this is about Johnson and Johnson and their bankruptcy plan to end their talc lawsuits. So Aaron Evans died in 2016 at 41 of ovarian cancer, leaving behind two daughters. Her mother, Darlene, blames Johnson and Johnson's baby powder, and she's pursuing a lawsuit her daughter started a decade ago, alleging the company's talc caused the deadly illness. The 71-year-old Houston area grandmother drained her savings caring for the girls. Now she, along with thousands of other claimants, face a July 26th, so this was a few weeks ago, deadline to vote on an attempt that Johnson and Johnson is trying to do a controversial bankruptcy maneuver that would cap its liability fund in order to pay the victims, and they did lose that appeal.
Hmm.
So she talks about how the grandmother talks about how she can't carry on with this fight because we know that legal processes are very expensive. She's been rebuffed twice by federal courts, um, and they're trying to do this uh, bankruptcy maneuver in Texas, and they need 75% of the claimants in order to agree to this, in order to ask for a bankruptcy. Um, and they have been facing a lot of lawsuits. Can you make the text bigger? Folks are saying more than 61,000 plaintiffs so far, and it could be as many as 100,000 who haven't sued. But
Hmm.
J&J has been using that talc baby powder for years. There's a lot that we could go into in terms of them trying to get the science from the main. Well, they were also trying to sue the scientists who first released that you can find carcinogens in the talc in the 1970s, but they were claiming that because they had older testing older testing protocols, that perhaps those results were flawed and that they should wait for new testing like in our era, so that they shouldn't use it, those tests in court. So there's a lot to this, but um, it looks like these claimants are either going to get a small amount, not what they're owed, um, and spread that out amongst these thousands of claimants. But J&J is trying to have to no longer pay any more um, to these claimants.
I mean,
Oh, and sorry, go ahead.
no, and I was going to just really quickly say, something that was ubiquitous when I was a kid was Johnson and Johnson baby powder. It was just like
Yes.
everywhere, and it was a staple. So like the way you buy dishwashing soap, families had Johnson baby powder, and you just, and if we even played with it at times, right? You know what I mean? They're like puffing it out the thing and all that kind of stuff. So it's the fact that the what the product caused, and again, Johnson and Johnson knew for a long time, as many of these products, like what the hazards that these products could cause, but still decided to sell, still decided to go on making profits for them. It's just amazing that this company isn't bankrupt or should be bankrupt. They should be made to pay every dime that they have for claimants who have suffered ill because of these. I mean, that product was so just widely distributed, and at the very least in the United States, probably around the world. It was probably some top selling product of its time in terms of the amount of people who were using it, and again, for them to know what they knew, and obviously continue to sell it. Obviously, it speaks to what capitalism is all about. But this particular case, the fact that they're trying to attempt to limit people's ability to recover damages, again, shows you who the court really protects.
And also, I was going to add that I found it interesting that some of the claimants tried to prove that they had, so the different types of cancers have developed among the claimants, but in the case of Aaron Evans, that was ovarian cancer. But some of the other claimants had mesothelioma, depending on where they, I assume, applied the baby powder. But what was interesting was that the claimants that had mesothelioma, because it's a rarer cancer, were told that they would probably not win their suit. So it would be easier for the folks who had ovarian cancer, because that's easier to prove by environmental factors, apparently. Um, to go with those people. So I thought that was really interesting. It's like, sorry, we can't prove you got mesothelioma, but maybe we can prove it on ovarian. I just thought that was fascinating.
Now, didn't Johnson and Johnson have to do a big payout to either a single um claimant or to a smaller group of claimants? Because I feel like this has been going on for some time, these lawsuits, at least 10, maybe 15, maybe even 20 years at this time. And I thought they had paid out a big lump sum of like hundreds of millions of dollars. And maybe that got thrown out. And that's why these people are still, bringing these class action suits. This is something that scares me in particular because I did used to use baby powder. I mean, aside from, being an infant born in 1978, where I'm sure they sprinkling baby powder all on my little girl parts, whilst in diapers. But when I was a teen going through puberty, when you sweat in your nether regions, oh, just throw some powder down there. I used to use the shit out of Johnson's baby powder, shower to shower. What was another one, chat? Like my grandma had that shit. Everybody
Yeah.
had that shit. Like that shit was beyond, come out, say ubiquitous. It was everywhere. And I never forget, I think my mother actually definitely saved my life in the 90s. I remember this when I was still in high school. I remember I was working at Chuck E. Cheese, and part of our uniform was these navy blue shorts. And I used to use so much powder. You could see the powder coming out my butt, right? And I remember my mother, she said, I read an article that said that using the baby powder might cause cancer. You should stop using it. And I did. But I still, every time I'm going for my well woman and my pap smears, like that's in the back of my head. You know what I mean? So if they were to cap these claims, people my age younger, and if we were to turn up sick as a result of use of this powder in our younger years, then what? If they cap it off, then nobody else can sue. It's over.
It's over. Yeah. And you're right. They did have to do, I believe the person's in California, and they had to do like I think it was 18.5 million payout to a single claimant. So they've been doing this, and I guess they've been trying to, Johnson & Johnson has been trying to claim bankruptcy so that they don't have to do this anymore. Even though they're sitting on billions of other products. Like they manufacture lots of things. Like baby powder isn't even a high percentage of their revenue anymore. So,
but it's interesting the way, not interesting, it's actually dastardly. But for example, the Baltimore Archdiocese, the Catholic Church out of Baltimore itself has filed for bankruptcy, and I think their bankruptcy was granted because in the same way that Johnson and Johnson is doing, they want to put a cap on lawsuits, right? They don't want people to be able to come bringing these lawsuits. So now if you want to bring an allegation of sex abuse, from the Catholic Church through the Baltimore Archdiocese, I think you have a deadline, right? Like if you don't put your claim in by X time, they won't be accepting or paying out any more claims after the cutoff period is ended. So it's interesting that these companies, not just companies, these entities, multi-billion dollar entities, are using all of these legal loopholes to protect, I guess, their treasury, even though their products continue to harm, and even though people will still come forward as being harmed by either the products or the actions.
But you know who can't file for bankruptcy? We can't file for bankruptcy to get rid of our student loans. That shit follows us to death, right? So even if you file for bankruptcy and you're trying to clear your debts as an individual, the law is written so that certain things for individuals cannot be written off or taken away. But like you said, all these loopholes exist for these companies to get treated better than we get treated. So they can try to do all and the resources that they pay out usually get staggered in such a way so they can continue their profits, they can continue their payments to their executives, they can continue their payments to their boards. They can continue their payments to their shareholders. And so it's like, well, what we're going to do is regulate this bad thing over here, even if it impacts literally millions of people potentially. And we're not going to really deal with that because we want you to continue making profits.
And Lucretia, if I'm not mistaken, it's disproportionately Black women impacted by this talcum powder stuff, right? Or it's mostly been Black women bringing these lawsuits. Maybe I have that
The
wrong.
people I saw were from all over, different
Really?
types of
Okay.
people. Yeah. But I do know that I don't know what's happening with I was trying to follow the hair relaxer lawsuits
All of that.
also. But that's definitely predominantly, and I was relaxing since I was like 2 years old.
Oh my God.
So,
It breaks my
yeah.
heart. It really breaks my heart. And it's like, I hate this country so bad because the ways in which corporations have been legally allowed to poison us, knowingly allowed to poison us, and then the ways that Black people and Black women are disproportionately impacted by that poisoning. Like, it's like, why protect democracy where? Only thing I see is the freedom for Revlon to poison me, right? To, how many, Lucretia, you said you were relaxing since 2. I think I was relaxing from maybe age 11 to 30, 12 to 30, somewhere in there, a long time. And all the chemicals, that shit just gets in your lymph nodes and gets in your muscle tissue and your fatty tissue, and it's just chilling. It's just
Waiting.
Man, I was thinking about that baby powder. I used to, before I made up my bed, I would sprinkle the baby powder on the bed, sprinkle it in the pillowcases, so I would sleep for 6 hours with baby powder right in my face. And it was wild. I really think we are gonna die from cancer.
I mean, lots
Oh
of
yeah.
Black people are. I mean, Cancer Alley, cancer clusters. Yeah.
Plastic. Are we drinking out of plastic water bottles now instead of hoses? All that plastic getting in there.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying. It seemed like it's a little safer coming out of pipes than these plastic water bottles.
Which pipes though? Because like,
I mean, I come from a different time, as Kamal is shaking his head. He knows. I mean, that's what we did. We drank out of water.
first of all,
You'd
Kamal
been
did not
letting those
have
pipes
he did
also.
not have a hose in the Albany projects. Did you have a garden hose in
He
the
drank
project?
straight
No, we
out
didn't
of the
have. We might, yeah. But the faucet. He means the
fire
faucet.
hydrant,
The faucet.
yeah.
Yeah.
The faucet,
No, yeah,
straight
the faucet.
faucet.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. You just stuck your head under it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Like,
now we got
nobody
plastic.
reached no bottle. There's no bottles in the refrigerator of water. It's just like, you got the water from the faucet and you kept it.
Yeah.
moving.
Well, babies are being born now with microplastics in their cord blood. So,
Yeah, I've heard that.
there you go.
Very nice.
That's why when I ponder sometimes, that's what I blame cancer coming from plastic. Like the introduction of plastic.
Stuff, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole, And again, they don't really care. They'll like, oh, we'll find out 30 years later. Or like, like the lead poisoning stuff and like lead-based paint. It was like they knew that stuff for decades and then they kept using it. Because they're like, it's all about making the money.
Yeah, like fuck them down the line. Let's get this money now.
Now.
Basically.
Wow.
And in our houses, we'll make sure not to use those products. It's the same, like, like all the, for like, what was the famous story about Steve Jobs or whatever? Like he didn't let his kids use the products that he put out to all the rest of us because he knew based on the inside research, the way in which they limit attention span, and all the ill effects of like too much computers at an early age. But for us, go forth.
Take it.
Take it.
Yeah. All right, I guess we go ahead and get to another break. We got 507 people watching, so y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. But let's take a quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. It's going down on the remix. It's going down. Big up, y'all. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Become a member over there and get footage that's rare. And share like you care. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and do a remix on the remix. Right here.
Shining brightly beside me. And if we keep this love will stand tall as the tree. Our love will spread wide as the sea. Our love will shine bright in the night like the stars above.
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let's go back to 1977. We rock with Natalie Cole off her album Thankful. This song is called Our Love, as you hear her melodic voice over a beat that came out in 2016 off the album The Art of Hustle. This is Yo Gotti, and he's going down in the DM. That's right, it's going down. All right, that's your remix on a remix. Now let's get back to the Remix Morning Crew. Now we do.
In times of darkness and fear, I go to you, I know you make me stop.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice.
Thank you
It's a
very
good
much.
job, you're a doctor.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Natalie Cole. What would we think of her as nepotism, or is it she could
Yes.
actually
Hell
sing?
no. But
Nepo baby all day. Nepo.
but great songs, great music. Again, not got her due. Come on now. Natalie Cole can actually sing.
I need the
Oh, come on
evidence.
now.
Name a song. What's the proof?
What's that?
She had a disco song, Miss Melody.
Now right on. Boom, boom, right on. Yeah, come on now, Natalie Cole.
I can't name a song, but I do
You
like
can't
her
remember the
voice.
name of it. Yeah. Go ahead. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I'm saying I can't name a song, but I do like her voice.
It's a gorgeous voice. Gorgeous voice.
And, and all this smoke for Sade, and you going up for Natalie Cole?
Oh,
Is that
Natalie Cole has a better voice than Sade.
Ah,
This one was a hit.
let's go to the judges.
That's
Oh yeah.
This will be. Yeah, that was a hit. An everlasting love.
this will be
And Unforgettable. You know, she did that with her daddy. That was nepotism. And then she had this one right here. What is it? Mr. Melody, a little disco.
Hey, Mr. Melody.
Oh,
Yeah.
look
I'm
at
just
that.
a disco girl. Anytime I hear that do 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 do, I'm like, yeah. So I'm easily persuaded. Yeah.
Somebody who can actually sing. We all like that.
First
Kim
of
is
all,
not impressed.
everybody knows Donna Summer was waxing.
Oh yeah, that
Natalie
was
Cole
obviously the
every
queen.
day.
Oh,
Yeah.
She was the
Yeah,
queen.
clearly.
She was the queen.
Clearly.
She was the
Whack.
queen.
No one's disputing that. No.
But,
I don't know. I was always very on Natalie Cole, like
Oh, no, I love Natalie.
very meh. It's very
She's
meh.
them drugs though for a while. She's them
Roberta
drugs.
Flack. Oh my
Ooh.
goodness.
Oh,
I know
man.
people are not saying Roberta Flack can't sing.
No, they
Oh,
crazy.
nah,
They
nah,
wouldn't say
wouldn't.
that.
I
They
wouldn't even.
say
I wouldn't
that.
even address
I mean, her
that.
politics are garbage, but her
Well-
voice is dynamite.
Her voice is dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
All right, yeah,
Like
no-
many of us, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. If I judge singers by their politics, I probably couldn't listen to nobody.
Nobody.
Exactly. Nobody.
Nobody.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I
Actions and
am a
politics.
disco queen. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes, I am. I
Aw.
claim it. I will claim it. Someone said in the
We
chat.
should
I was
rollerblade
listening.
together. Yeah. Mhm.
Man,
oh, that would be
I will
cute.
do that. Where you at again? You in upstate New York?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a trip, girl. I'll make a trip. I'll make a
Let's
trip.
skate.
I'll make a trip. Rock.
Wow.
Skate.
Hey.
Come on now, I'll make a trip for that. Come on now.
Hey, we could do a
Hey.
roller skate party though and rock
Oh,
all that
okay.
disco
Now I'll
shit.
go for that. I'll
You
be
know what I
there.
mean?
I'll be there
I'm
for that.
saying. I would love to DJ that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, so this is about you and not about us.
oh yeah,
Always,
Mhm.
always.
God,
Mhm.
yeah, y'all. It's
Right.
always about the people when it comes to DJing.
Mhm.
All right, let me get out of here.
All right. So I don't usually do this because I'm not Jared. I'm not petty like Jared. But before we do our next story, just a continuation of the story and a little side comment I made when I said that tech leaders limited their kids on what their tech was.
Mhm.
And then somebody, my friend, in unpolite language, said that was bullshit. So Steve Jobs was a low-tech parent. I just want to make sure that the record is clear.
Hmm.
So the reporter asked him, so your kids must love the iPad. I asked Mr. Jobs, trying to change the subject. The company's first tablet was just hitting the shelves. They haven't used it. He told me we limit how much technology our kids use at home. And the reporter said they were dumbfounded. He imagined that they would be using all the time. Nope, Mr. Jobs told me, not even close. He says, since then, I've met a number of technology chief executives and venture capitalists who say similar things. They strictly limit their children's screen time, often banning all gadgets on school nights and allocating ascetic time limits on weekends. And he says, I was perplexed by this parenting style. After all, most parents seem to take the opposite approach, letting their children bathe in the glow of tablets because it's promoted to them, of course. Yet these tech CEOs seem to know something the rest of us didn't. And it goes on to say that Chris Anderson, the chief editor of Wire and now chief executive of 3D Robotics, a drone maker, has instituted time limits and parental controls on every device in his home. My kids accuse me and my wife of being a fascist and overly concerned about tech. And they say none of their friends have the same rules, he said, of his 5 children, 6 to 17. And it says the dangers he's referring to include exposure to harmful content like pornography, bullying from other kids, and perhaps worse of all, becoming addicted to these devices, just like their parents or whatever. And in part of it, the article also said that these tech giants seem to know things that others of us don't, which means that the inside information, the research that's done to show that these products are harmful, again, in terms of the amount of time that we spend on them, the things that we can get off of them, that they are things that should be limited, but the propaganda given to all of us, of course, is use, and on the back end, some small warning or some when they're called out about it and they say something about, oh, we give you these devices to do, you can limit this, limit that. But the preferred option, of course, on most of these devices, unless you ask, is not to help you limit your use, but is to help you make sure that you're using it as often as possible as probably part of your daily routine. And they love it when you spend 6 to 10 to 15 hours on your phone or your computer, just searching the web and all the rest of it. So just want to make sure people clearly understand that these folks do understand what they're doing, the tech industry, whether or not it's these badly made products. And they don't really, as we stated, they don't care about what we use. They don't care about what happens to us. They care about the profits that generate to them and their family. And then they go take care of them and their family, usually anyway.
And the reasons why the Jobs of the world don't let their children use, I mean, the reasons are many, but part of the reason is they have like staff that can help them occupy their children's time, right? They have tutors, they have drivers, they have coaches, they have all these things. The reason why a lot of working parents allow their children unfettered access to the phone and to the tablet is because it's a babysitter. Like your child is quiet, your child's in the room, the kid's not saying nothing, the kid's not tearing shit up. He's got his face in his tablet and he's being quiet. A lot of parents do that as a win. You know what I mean? But the consequences of turning these kids into digital dope fiends is something that I don't think people really think long term about and what that actually means to their healthy well-being and their development. I mean, in some of these cases, and these are extreme cases, of course, but we've seen some teenagers literally turn violent when their parents try to take the phones from them, right? To the point that some parents have actually been killed, taking the phone from the kid, right? And it's because this addiction, this desire, this fear of missing out, also paired with the dopamine hit that the kids get when they get notifications or they get positive feedback online. These are things that are being cultivated young in children, as toddlers, as small kids. So by the time they get to be teenagers, good luck taking the phone or the iPad from them.
Oh yeah. And they see this, my now 12-year-old, she's the only one in her class without a phone. And she's at this place where she's doing, and, we think it's cute, of course, and not sure we're going to get it. We may or may not. She's making videos on her other devices about why she deserves to have a phone. She's had her friends, you know what I mean? Like, so it's that kind of pressure of like, Everybody else has this except for me. I'm an outcast for not having this. And there might be good reasons in this day and age, of course, to get her a phone in terms of she's getting older, something happens, like we're starting to let her stay at home and we're going out. So there may be reasons for it, but there's also the compulsion, the addiction that's brought into it. And no one is saying, again, after this, I'm staying out the chat, that this makes them better parents. That's not the point. The point of it is that they know that the damage that these devices can cause, but they don't share that information with us. It's not a selling feature. It's not something that's prominently displayed. What they do is that they hear these studies, they know this information, and they act accordingly in their own households while they exploit our households and make us think that we can't survive without these products. That's the point. It's not complimenting their parenting style. It's talking about the fact that these folks make huge amounts of money, again, not just in the tech industry, but all across the board, putting out products that they know are damaging to the general public, why they themselves get to stay away from those products and continue to live, like you said, very elite lives in which they have alternatives to keep their kids busy where we don't. Because when we want to get some work thing done, we decide to let them watch cartoons included, right? I'm included, cartoons or the phone or something like that, because it gives us that break that we think that we may need in order to finish something. So this is not about complimenting. This is about exposing people who know things are damaging, who know products are bad for us, but continue to push them on us while they stay away from them for the most part.
I'll add that I am thinking about how slow the legislation in this country is to keep up with, I mean, that laughable hearing of the senators, what's a Facebook? How do I like how do you do that? And like the children are getting bullied on, like when I was growing up, it was definitely about cyberbullying. The chat rooms on AOL were brutal. It was a wild wild west in terms of colonial wild wild west in terms of adults pretending to be children. Like I was like all of my friends, we were all in these chat rooms, and yeah, there was no regulation there. And still, I think parents themselves don't really have a good defense against cyberbullying. Like they don't know of like what's going on TikTok, what could be happening in their child's DMs. And to your point, Kim, earlier of the violence that can happen, I'm thinking about my partner worked in the schools, and I also worked with kids briefly um, who needed IEPs, which are, education plans where they're not supposed to have their phone. And like even in the school, just flagrant disregard of this, of what it can do to their mental health to have these as a part of their IEP, and just ignored, like, oh, let them have it because like it's easier to let this kid that we don't know how to deal with, quote unquote, to have their phone, when that could directly lead to confrontation in the classroom. So I just think
I'm
people are
sorry.
just, I mean, this is what happened with Brendan Deepa, actually. The I was following his story, and I'm still trying to figure out information. He was 17 at the time, but he had an IEP that talked about his Nintendo Switch, and there was conflicting advice from the paraprofessional, and like, should he get it? Should he get it? Should he not get it? And they got into an altercation, they tussled, he knocked her to the ground, he like beat her, and he's now, I don't know what's happening to him now. He was held in solitary confinement for quite a while, and he's now 18, so I actually don't know if he will be, they were trying to try him as a juvenile, but then the footage was released, and this is a white woman, a white paraprofessional, so take that with a grain of salt. And after the footage was released, they tried him as an adult. So I actually don't know what's going on with him right now. But yeah, so I'll stop there.
No, I think that's the same story. Did this happen in Florida or someplace
Yes.
like that, where this young man, he's a student, but he's a big kid, right? He was probably like, he was
Yeah,
big
I
kid.
mean,
He
the
was probably,
articles were so crazy. Like the articles were like hulking, black, autistic
yeah,
teen. It was
right.
just horrific. It was
Oh,
horrific.
Yeah, so he was this big child, like 6'3". I mean, big kid. And the teacher or someone took his device from him and he attacked them, and injured them. She wasn't killed, but
No,
she got fucked up, right?
she got pummeled. Yeah.
Yeah, she did get pummeled. But again, you can this is what we're creating here. And and not just him, not just 17-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Like, these kids are so accustomed to having unfettered access to these devices that when they don't have them, it does something neurologically to them. So I don't know, not to say that Steve Jobs and them are better parents or not better parents, but I think all parents just need to be way more conscious about the things that we're putting in our children's hands. These are not just innocent electronics. And if it's about safety, if you want to be able to remain in touch with your child in a school setting, get them that basic fucking flip phone, that Nokia joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, where they can make calls and receive calls, and that's it. It's the social media. It's not the phone. We had phones. We had access to, the telephone. It's not the phone. It's the social media aspect of it that is really doing the most damage to the children and to their brains and to their self-esteem and the way they see themselves. And it's more damaging to young girls. Say the studies.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now that I've corrected my friend, we got something else that we want to talk about.
I do. I wanted to show this clip. It's a video clip. It's 5 minutes, but it's really good. It's a part of a longer documentary called Kana Satake, 270 Years of Resistance. I wanted to show it because today in 1990 marks the uprising that the Kanasatake people did outside of Montreal. It was a 78-day uprising against colonizers trying to build a golf course on their land. Standoff with federal troops, Mountie police, all of that. So I wanted to show a clip of the people who were there talking about it, and hopefully can
5 minutes
share it.
though.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, here we go.
The story you will see takes place near Montreal in Kanasatake, a Mohawk village near the town of Oka, and in Ganawage, a Mohawk reserve south of the city at the Mercier Bridge. 70 kilometers west of Montreal, the municipality of Oka has approved a luxury housing development and the expansion of a private 9-hole golf course to 18 holes into the Pines, which is part of the Mohawk Nation's land. In the early morning of March 10, 1990, the people of Kanasatake began a protest on a dirt road leading to the golf course. They were given until Monday, July 9, by the mayor of Oka to obey a court injunction granted to his municipality before calling for police action.
Are you ready now to abandon the project?
No. That's it?
In the early 1930s, some people in Oka began playing golf on the commons. The Mohawks complained that their cattle were being chased away with golf sticks and that there was nothing for the animals to eat. In 1947, the municipality expropriated the commons. Even the Mohawks' burial ground became the property of Oka. By 1961, after many trees were cut, the private golf course was completed.
I want to show the women because they're really cool.
Yeah, let's get a little fast forward.
By 7 a.m., they closed the Mercier Bridge, which handles over 65,000 vehicles a day.
Get down, everybody get down. So they start running. I says, hit the ground, you gotta lay down because they're shots, huh? I didn't know where they were firing. But once that first bullets, then our men start shooting back.
Coming in. Coming in.
they
We
were
had enough trouble this morning. As soon as they found out I was a Mohawk, they told me, no Mohawks today. Out.
so the French, I'll stop it there, but the French, he's saying like he's like, please, like, come on, like, I have a right to be here, like, blah, blah, blah. This is outside of Montreal. So, talking to the cops. So it was a standoff. They blocked the road and they held out for 78 days. So that was starting today in 1990. So I wanted to show that struggle of the Kanesatake people.
I'm sorry. Like all we could do is shake our heads. Like these colonizers do not get tired, do they? Like just constantly encroaching, violating, pushing, harming, stealing. Like y'all don't get tired after 600 years of this shit. Y'all not exhausted?
They are not exhausted about keeping control of power for big things and for little things. It's like our recreation is far more important. Our golf courses, building our houses, expanding our settlements, beach houses, all that is way more important than your access to land and stopping climate change. We don't give a fuck about any of that. We care about our comfort. That's what we care about. And they are not tired of it. They are not tired of it, and they won't ever give it up without a fight. They prefer to kill us, kill those who would challenge them, as opposed to a fight.
And also, like this was 1990, but shooting at people directly, lots of shots. You heard in that video, the police force doing the same things that they do to Black and Indigenous people here. So I just wanted to highlight that the struggle is across North and South America.
Oh.
So that's a part of a longer documentary that talks about their resistance over 270 years.
Yeah, people would be thinking Canada, like those whites over there in Canada,
right?
Like the calm whites, or they're no trouble, they're not getting into wars. Those is like the brutal nature in which the Indigenous population has been and continues to be treated. Just obviously it doesn't always reach over here, but there's so much evidence, like this documentary, other things in terms of people challenging and the laws that have been erected to continually not just keep people down, but depopulate, take land, resources, establish further control. It's all out there. Say it again?
Poison them legally. Poison them legally, continuing to usurp and encroach upon their way of life. I remember doing a story a few years ago about it wasn't in Montreal, but it's in that region, southern Quebec, southern Ontario, somewhere in there, where the native lobster people were having their traps contaminated and poisoned. Like I think the fucking crackers were coming in like pouring bleach into their lobster traps because of these this particular First Nations people had the right had fishing rights, but so it was something. But here come the whites poisoning. We don't want them to have it, so you know what, let's just poison it and make it unusable for everybody. And this is in recent times, but it's like y'all don't get tired. Genocide never gets exhausting. I guess they will always be able to replenish their genocidal energies to keep that going.
So they did stop the building of this golf course back then. I don't know if it has since been taken over, but they did stop the building. So power to them. And this is the Kanesatake resistance, or it's also called the Oka uprising.
Yeah, imagine that though. People had to get shot to stop. Yeah.
They ain't colleagues, they fucking colonizers. Crazy. You know that line, don't you, Kamal?
Of course I do.
That's right.
Dun, dun, dun,
You already know it. All right. Yeah, I guess it's time to go ahead and take another quick break, and y'all could get another story or two pulled up. Man, I heard about the girl getting pulled away in trash bags up in New York. It's a bunch of crazy.
What?
Yeah. I'll let LJ you on mute, but I'll let you pull that up if you can. But yeah, it's a bunch of crazy stuff going on, especially in New York. All right, let's go ahead and get to a quick break right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning. It's gonna be a quick one, y'all. Right here on the Remix Morning Show. We talking disco. Oh man, don't get me started. Big up to everybody tuning in right now. Go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there and get footage that's rare. And share. Let them know that we are here. Black Liberation Media. All right, boom. So we was talking disco earlier. We talking about bomb songs. One of the hardest songs that came out in the disco era came out by a group called A Taste of Honey. Yes, let me tell you about them real quick. I mean real quick. All right, so Taste of Honey is a group coming straight out of L.A. That's right, California, 1972. You had Janice Marie Johnson and Perry Keeble. And in 1978, they had one of the biggest songs in this era called Boogie Oogie Oogie. Yes, this is one of my mom's favorite songs. I must say, I remember seeing the 8-track tape lying around, always getting burned. All right, so they did that song, came out, was real big. And then, the group fell apart, came back together and stuff. In 2004, Janice Marie Johnson and Hazel Payne reunited to perform on a Get Down Tonight disco explosion. And they've been, pretty much, they separated. One went and did their own thing, and then they came back together once again. But they had that song, and then they came out with another song called Sukiyaki. That was the other big song that came off of their album, their third album, Twice as Sweet. So with that said, they had about 5 albums, starting from 1978 to 1984. But this right here was one of their biggest joints right here, man. I'm talking about ooh, met your body. Ooh. Oh man, get on up. But yeah, so go check them out if you haven't. Taste the Honey and rock out with that song Boogie Oogie Oogie. All right, with that said, let's go and Boogie Oogie Oogie right back to the Remix Morning crew. You know how we do. Let's go. You can't forget no more. Boogie no more. Listen to my face. Yeah.
I love that one too.
That song. Me too. Oh man, I don't think nobody. You gotta dance when that song come on. Mm-hmm. What?
That
I know them sisters was bad too.
Good times.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is not a good time. Our next story. So just take the boogie spirit with you and hold it in your heart as we talk about this ridiculous story. Terrible story.
All right, get to it.
So let me share my screen. So one man charged with concealing corpse, trigger all the trigger warnings, all the content warnings for the story. Man charged with concealing corpse after woman's remains found in sleeping bag. A 55-year-old man is in police custody after the body of 31-year-old Yasmin Williams was found inside a sleeping bag in Kips Bay last week. The medical examiner's office determined Williams had been shot in the head and her death was ruled a homicide. Chad Irish faces a slew of charges, including concealment of a corpse, criminal possession of a weapon, and menacing. The pigs say Irish threatened a 47-year-old man who identified him nearby where Williams' body was found. Detectives are still looking for a murder weapon and executing a search on the man's apartment where they believe Williams was killed. Williams stayed with Irish from time to time, but the nature of their relationship is unclear. Irish is described as ambulatory, able to walk around, but certainly not able to commit a murder. He chooses to use a wheelchair to get around. Irish has 21 prior arrests and a record that goes back to the early 90s and has been in and out of state prison. He was most recently released on parole for a July 2022 robbery in the Bronx. Irish has not been charged with the death of Williams, but the investigation continues. So this was going viral because community members were outraged. They were like waiting outside the precinct asking to to be let in, and then when they were transferring him outside into like the ambulance, they like rushed the stretcher that he was on, and like bring him out, and it's clear that they knew her and cared a lot about her. um and a neighbor says, enough people around here were saying they knew exactly who did it, says neighbor Ted Omiki. I think that they probably already didn't like him before, and seeing that he did this to the girl, they are understandably enraged, and I don't blame them. Detectives believe Irish was the man in the motorized wheelchair seen on video dragging and leaving the body on East 27th Street Friday. There's a beautiful picture of Yasmin there. So I was just seeing this in our chats, and also shout out to Imani also. But yeah, that's the story, and it's currently developing.
No, I mean that is it's one of those things about what I guess what we term sometimes as horizontal violence within our community, and the I mean, I guess just the ways that people are unhinged or can be, or use whatever power they have to snuff out other people's lives. It's just a crazy story. And I don't know if I have much to say about it, except that it's just a crazy, crazy story. But unfortunately, not completely uncommon, right? Not like when we talk about, I think Kim talks about this a lot in terms of the people who are committing violence against women, in terms of the magnitude and the level of violence, that stuff is coming, and that this is not just within one racial category. This is across the board, all ethnic groups, all racial categories. It's men, and so this is a crazy story.
I'd be curious as to what his prior charges are, because the media's doesn't. I don't like the way that when people are arrested for more heinous crimes, the discussion about their previous records is like, oh, well, they had a record going back to blah blah blah, and that shit could have been for jaywalking, right? Like, so that to me, when they say all that, it lacks context, but the context is needed, because if these previous charges were harassment or stalking or domestic violence, like all of these types of behaviors and convictions can be leading indicators going up to a more violent act, right? So I think to know what is in the past histories of people that end up committing murder, especially gender-based murders or intimate partner violence type of homicides, like we need to be putting some dots together. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that every brother who commits harassment or stalking or domestic violence is even capable of murder, but it just so happens that a lot of the murderers have those kinds of crimes in their background. So I'd like to see more beyond this person had a long criminal history. I'd like to know the kind of criminal history. Was there anything in their past that could have told us that something like this would have been possible?
Yeah. And histories are important because they can be used to, like you said, to solve things or to make people better or to give people help that they need before certain things happen. But as we also know, histories can be used to exploit, right? And to give rationales for why people do things or why people get shot or killed. And like a lot of times you will see the police reports that are put out histories to justify, so it's all about what the intent is. And a lot of times in our society, the histories are not intended to say, hey, this person needs more support, or this person should not have access to this, or whatever it is, because when they're not used in that fashion, usually they're used to, again, justify and or give cover to some other heinous act, as opposed to trying to figure out what does this history have to do with how we can resolve some of these issues of concern.
And I appreciate your point, Kim, because I feel like maybe it won't be the grieving family of Yasmin or her neighbors and friends, but the rest of us, to have a conversation like around disability, around like, because I hear people Chad's talking about it, referring to him as like the wheelchair killer, which is like, and I think this question of like when and like who's capable, quote unquote, who's capable of violence. I think people just kind of lump people with any type of disability like that you can't do anything ever. This kind of like infantilizing of people who have disabilities. And I think seeing people as whole people, as you're saying, their whole histories, like what has happened in the past can, and also you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of, I don't know, this question of competency also comes up again in Brendan Deepa's case where they were saying like, was he competent enough to stand trial as an adult because of him being on the spectrum? And so I think, I mean, there's a horrible conversation around disability and competency, especially in the criminal justice system. But I think, I don't know where we would start that conversation, but I think it's important to have.
Mhm. Imani Barbarin talks about that also as that kind of being a form of ableism of thinking that, for example, disabled people aren't capable of violence, right? Like, why would you think that? Like, why? Because someone is a wheelchair user, someone uses a cane, which you think they can't whip ass or they can't cause harm, or no, that's also a form of ableism. Is thinking that all disabled people are these sort of neutral, physically non-threatening figures, and you shouldn't think that.
Hoppo, who this guest backstage?
Oh, this is Sister Zenzele who wants to continue the debate and discussion. And so I decided to let her just come on up if that's cool for folks.
Yes.
Maybe she could be a permanent host.
No, come on, make room.
Come on, Zen. Come on up. Come on.
Over.
I'm producing today. I'm producing today, my man.
I see you didn't run this
live
past
on
me.
air.
I gotta run something by you all the time. This was. You don't run by your bad segments to me. You don't tell me you're gonna do some segment. You just ran Farrell. Like you say, Farrell. What's his name? Farrell.
But this is Isabel, aka Vanna Black.
Zenzibel. We was looking for you. We was looking for you in DC, Zenzibel. Where was you?
I had another event to go to. So I did reach out to Kamau and told him to use his influence so that the next remix is in New York City, since y'all keep talking about how it's in New York City. Hey y'all. So yeah. Please come to New York. I would love to go down there. My traveling is kind of limited. I haven't even seen my mother in a minute, and that's a problem. So
can you lower your camera just a little bit?
How about I just raise myself up?
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
My chair doesn't go up, and I have a different. I have a new monitor set up, and I'm still fixing it. So
although you have good equipment, you have better equipment than
I
had when you first started. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yo, I'm in IT, so I get stuff.
Relax.
And I'm just gonna say no. Listen, LJ, you are besting me, okay, right now. And I'm gonna say that there's sometimes I'm gonna leave it at that. There's sometimes that y'all have a discussion on technology, and I'm like, we need to have somebody up here that knows. I love y'all, but knows what they're talking about. But anyway, on the let's be real. Let's be real. I love y'all. Know your lane. Okay.
What is your argument that you're making? What is this argument you're making that was counter to my argument? Let's start there.
I love you, Kamau. I do.
I love you too.
Okay. All I'm saying is this. And I remember, and this is an analogy that makes sense, back when, you would hear, all these rich people, they're, no.
IT, huh?
Ear doctor, come on now.
Ear doctor was waiting.
She's that it girl, all right.
See, her camera went dead because she knew what she was about to say was not going to go anywhere. And so she purposely knocked herself off the screen so that she couldn't have this discussion and debate. So obviously, I've already won.
Well, ain't that something?
She's going to pop back on in a few seconds. But
is she?
I bet you she will. It's Zenzele. You don't know Zenzi B. You don't know her.
Oh, I know her.
It'll be up like it'll be 10:15, or she'll be trying to get back on the screen. There we go. She came back again.
Oh, damn. Here we go.
You had to switch. You had to switch devices.
I had to switch devices. I always have a way to do things. So, like I was saying,
look.
No, we just have a tendency to idealize and idolize billionaires when they seemingly make a point that we agree with. Oh, and I'm sorry, I call bullshit. We call CEO liars whenever they say something we don't agree with, but whenever they bring a point that might be equal to us, we're like, oh well, that's what they said. They got fucking whole publicity PR people to say, and what it may be very valid that Steve Jobs limited access to mobile devices, but he probably instilled some other poisonous shit in his kids at the same time. So let's keep it a buck and not model our lives against rich ass people. And it's like, and another thing that we don't really talk about enough is, yes, children have way too much access to mobile devices because parenting, but a lot of parents do not have the time, money, or resources to have help with childcare. They've gotten rid of physical education and gym in schools. They got rid of band in schools. They got rid of, unless, they have a major like football, basketball program because they're bringing in money for that. Kids don't have recreation in schools like they used to. A lot of times kids don't play outside because either their parents are encouraging them to stay inside because they have all these mobile devices and videos and all this other shit, or it's not safe for kids to be outside. So yeah, it's different now, but it's like, it ain't the kids' fault. We are not doing things like making sure the kids have safe spaces outside, making sure that, we have a way for parents to have affordable childcare, or having a way for parents not to, be forced to throw a mobile device in front of them as a babysitter. And let's even talk about how back in the day, television was our babysitter.
That's correct.
Before mobile devices even came. So let's not act like we were all fucking perfect back then. We were not, and neither were our parents. So
go ahead. No, you finish your point.
Right. These are things that we need to talk about whenever instead of just blurting out, oh, social media, devices. Let's have a more nuanced conversation about all these things.
Yes. And then that's clearly also make sure that we understand the argument that we're debating, because there's nothing that you said that I disagree with. I agree with everything that I agree with everything you said, except about the idealizing of billionaires. What I was pointing out is that these same people who sell us products already know the research that's associated with their products, whether or not we're talking about iPhones or other things, and that they'll do things to alleviate their own family and kids so that they're not using those products as they are pushing it on our kids. So not that they are the idealized parents that we should follow, but that because they have more information, more access to resources, that they are able to potentially, and it doesn't mean that their kids aren't fucked up in other ways. No one is saying that either. But when they know what the warning signs or the triggers are, that information is not readily shared with the larger community to also make decisions that could be informative for how they allow their kids to interact with these devices, whether or not they're phones or TVs or the rest of it. That information is hidden because they know that information, if put out there when that device is first put out there, it will limit sales. So all they care about is sales and the mass marketing of their products on us and our children, and damn the consequences. So the only thing I'm saying is that these elite forces or people understand the true nature or the impacts or side effects or even the bigger effects of those products or things that they're putting out. And they don't give a damn about stopping or making sure we are as informed as they are. They'll protect as they see fit their own family and kids. Not again that I'm not holding them up as ideal model parents. I actually am holding them up as villains who are people who know exactly what they're doing, exactly the consequences of using their products, and are not giving us the same warnings and understandings and context of what leads to those. And you're right. And again, no exclusion for me or like even how I grew up. TV, yes, was a babysitter for me. At times I give, we try to do limit, but at times I will give my kids my phone because I have to be like, I gotta go do something. You know what I mean? So no, without a doubt. So I only think that you're misunderstanding. I'm gonna do it, Jared. You're misrepresenting my argument. And I think that if you didn't misunderstand me, misrepresent me, then we would have clarity.
granted. And
hold on, Leslie Bell. Wait a minute. So I want to push in here because I disagree with the fact that I don't think you can compare television of the 70s, 80s, and 90s to what the kids have access to in the palm of their hands right now. Even the ones that are watching television, playing video games, like in the chat discussions of these video game rooms. Like,
I'm not comparing the content. What I'm talking about is in terms of activity, in terms of parents, using a device other than a human being so that their children remain occupied. I'm not saying that they're the same thing. All I'm saying is that there have been ways for parents to disengage from that, a lot of times out of necessity. And someone had mentioned in the chat about kids playing in the street in New York City. I'm in New York City. Now, I will say that the times and places where I mostly see kids playing are playgrounds. And there are not playgrounds on every street in New York City. There are a lot of them. And there are also neighborhoods, entire neighborhoods in New York City that don't have playgrounds. So if there's a playground, yeah. Seeing kids just out and about, I don't see that at all. Formerly living in, I guess I would call like burbs. I don't know, fucking Albany, which I hated with passion. But in Albany, kids that are playing the street, parents drove them to the mall. And that's pretty much they're outside. So I don't see kids playing out, even in yard. Kids that have backyards, people that have backyards don't even be in their backyards. So I just noticed a difference in terms of kids having activities to be outside and be creative and play and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's safety related. A lot of times it's just it may be just a culture that we just don't do that anymore. I don't know.
And see, I wonder if it's about safety either, because I don't think that it was safer for us, right? Like, they started putting kids on milk cartons. That was us. That was our generation.
Right. So I'm not even talking about that type of safety. That has always been around. I'm not even talking about that type of safety. That has always been around. In New York City, there has, from my observation, with an influx of so many damn people moving in, and very few people moving out, the car culture is just insane now compared to what it used to be, even in residential areas. So kids playing I used to play in the middle of the street in my, when I grew up, because they're like on my block. I grew up in South Jamaica, Queens, and on my block, the only time you went down my street was when you had to, like when you knew somebody, you were kind of going in the neighborhood. So there were big, busy streets that you don't play in because there are too many damn cars, and that's what I'm talking about. And just like, that's what I'm talking about, safety, where a lot of times it may not be safe for kids to play out in the street. A lot of construction going on, a lot of falling buildings and shit like that. Abductors have been around forever, although I think it's easier now to abduct kids.
I don't think so. These kids got air tags in their asses. Who you gonna take?
Not every parent does that. Where you going? Not every parent does that. Not every parent does that. A lot of parents can't afford that shit.
Oh man, no. I think the kids. It's odd because I was just having this discussion with one of my friends. I'm like, bro, the way that we used to ride our bikes for miles and miles and miles away from home, and Mama, I'm leaving the house.
Yeah,
an hour and a half later, Mama,
I'm going outside.
I'm at my friend's house. I'll call you when I'm leaving again. You know what I mean? And then we were just blissfully unsupervised and outside and active and, just living our best. And these children don't have the opportunity to do that. I guess parents are helicoptery and very paranoid. I don't want to let my kids out of my sight. Well, they're going to be out your sight one day. You might as well get them out there early, toughen them up.
I'm like that as a parent these days. I'm like that as a parent these days. The things that I got to do, like you talk, like the things I got to do in terms of Brooklyn, like going 30 blocks away, going up into people, whatever, the playground, going behind the buildings, jumping off of like roofs on mattresses, all that real shit. I was like, I won't let my kids walk outside without me. I've literally trailed them in the suburbs, in the subdivision, to be like, where you going? Like, you went to somebody's house? I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead. You grown. Okay, go ahead.
Listen,
and like, I'm like this. Like a block away, so yeah.
I was 10 years old going to the store for my mother by myself. to buy her some cigarettes.
Cigarettes, of course. Of course.
Yep.
That was a child errand.
That was a child errand, right? To get cigarettes.
Go
If
to
I
the
saw
store
a
and get
6-year-old
some
kid out
cigarettes.
by themselves now,
But what's the difference? What's the difference? There wasn't weirdos trying to mess with us when we was kids. Wasn't weirdos trying to get us in the van.
answer the question from you. What do y'all think the difference is? Because I don't know.
I don't think there is a difference, to be honest. I just think that parents are more vigilant. I think that Gen X parents feel as though our boomer parents were way too permissive, right? Like, oh no, y'all gave us way too much freedom. This is wrong. Like, so we're gonna restrict these freedoms for our children. This is how I see Gen X parents talking. But like, what do you think, Kamal? You the only one on here with some youngins.
Well, I think. Oh, that's well. Who?
Ouch.
Oh, I'm sorry, ear doctor.
No, I think. I mean, there's more freedom in different ways, and there's more restrictions in different ways. So instead of, again, the outside, what people do have, the phone is the oasis, right? That takes them outside, or the computer is the oasis that takes them outside. And so instead of physically being out there, now they're talking to their friends and doing this deep dive into the computer world. But there's other ways where they have, like my parents would beat, right? My moms would beat. Today's parents, including myself, we don't beat, right? We're like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. My mom would put a quick lesson on your ass, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, now you know, right? Now you got to talk to them, and you got to talk to them like 5 times, 5 different days. It's like, you know what? In my day, I would learn my lesson quick, because I get that pop, whoop, and I'll be like, oops, I think I learned not what to do and what to do, whatever. And then the last thing y'all reminded me, I was going to say, is curfew. My curfew was my mom's. We would be around the corner. Not even that. She would yell out the fucking window.
My dad too.
Yeah, just call.
Yeah.
I mean, yell, like, open up the window.
Yeah.
This is pre-projects. This is when we lived in, I guess, tenement housing in Brooklyn. Open up the window, like, my government name, Kyle, Anita, and we would hear it around the corner and go like, oh shit, we gotta go.
Yep.
Yeah, my warning was the street lights. Yeah.
Wasn't no cell phones. It was the window.
It was the window.
Nothing's changed. We just got softer. And this is supposed to be a great debate, quite lukewarm if you ask me. But I appreciate you coming on, Zenzabel, and thank you for continuing to be one of the remixes. I appreciate you.
You were supposed to come down here to be my +1 just so you could give Ear Doctor news. That would
have another one. And I will do my best to plan coming down to do all those things, because they're long overdue. No, seriously, I really wanted to come down. But again, the remix show, their next stop is in New York anyway, so I'm gonna see y'all pretty soon, right?
It's a tough one. It's between, I guess, New York and Atlanta. Where's the next one gonna be?
I already have a space I know a space that y'all could use in Manhattan. That's like a community space. That would be perfect for this.
Okay. Right.
Listen, I'm not just gonna invite y'all and not have a solution.
Look at that.
Thank you.
I fucked with Isabel.
Right.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a great one. Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
All
Zinzi.
right.
I was thinking about this, guys. I'm like, when is the next, we're on a roll here. We had a successful joint. I think we should try to have another one this year, maybe in the fall, October.
Let's do the fall, yeah.
Black August?
October.
He's like, that's too early. Yeah, August is like next month. What am I thinking
August
about?
is next month. Yeah.
Yeah, that's too quick.
What y'all think? October in NYC?
I think so.
We want to do cold in New York. Well, it ain't
not that cold in October.
It's gonna be fall. We can bring out our cute scarves.
Right. That's cute fall weather. Jeans and Timbs and sweaters.
Okay, the hoodied up, Timbs. I see you. Let's do this. All right.
Not October. Ricky's saying no.
Why? What's wrong with
It is
October?
the month of action for AFRICOM.
Oh.
The whole every day you're gonna be busy.
You know what I mean?
Every single day in October, we're gonna.
I gotta hold all my plans because BAP got a week of action or some shit like that.
No, we have a month of action.
Every day.
Yeah, every single day.
Every day. You're gonna be doing something every day.
Well, maybe we can coincide, right?
Man, we can October, man, if we want to. What is this? We working around their come on. We set our own schedule.
And the membership meeting, I'm a BAP girl, so
Aww.
You're a remix girl too, ain't you though?
Everybody wants a piece of LJ. It's okay.
Everybody girl.
I start calling you LJ. Is that the new name? LJB? That's your preference now?
That's my preference now.
All right. All right. I'm gonna have to get used to that. So don't get upset.
You have some time. You have
Okay.
some time.
I got like
It's
8 months.
it's time to go, y'all.
Oh, my bad.
Kim, what you got coming up?
It's 10 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
Time flies when
That
you're having
quick.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, when Zimzabel get to talking, it's kind of hard to stop. But,
I was gonna say we got the Remix Morning Show tomorrow night. That's a lie. We have Burn It Down with Kim Brown Friday nights, 7 p.m. Thank you all so much. I did not do a Kim Switch turn up last night, but for good reason, of which you all will find out later. But yes, so
okay. Anything for you, LJ? No? I don't think so.
No.
Damn. But it is something. LJ will be a correspondent for us for the upcoming Venezuelan elections. She will be down in Caracas, reporting back live about what's happening with the election. So that is huge news.
That is ginormous news. LJ, you were just not gonna say nothing. You wasn't gonna say
I didn't
nothing.
know. I didn't get the okay from the overlords to mention it.
We got to finalize all the details, but it seems to be on the way of happening.
On the way of happening.
That's a big deal. I mean, LJ, that's a huge. Oh my gosh! So when is
Thanks
this?
for
When are you
trusting in
going?
me. This is July 23rd. The election
this is coming up.
July.
Yeah, get your reporting skills on. Reporting skills
28th.
on.
So give me Grace, a new baby journalist. So
let's go, Lucretia.
That's why we need y'all to be on Patreon to keep supporting, so we can send our correspondence out in the world.
True. Get you that real news.
You know what I'm saying?
So really quick, again, I want to promote. I'm trying to do a better job of promoting. So we got an upcoming book talk here with our own Two Black, our own Musa Springer here in Atlanta, Little 5 Points, July 20th at 4 p.m. I don't know if y'all all know this, but our brother Two Black has co-authored a book called Laundering Black Rage, The Washing of Black Death, People, Property, and Profits, talking all about the era of who's getting the money and how things ain't changing in our community. So please come out one all. We might be. I think we're pretty close to figuring out if we're going to be able to film this. But for y'all coming out in Atlanta, Two Black would be glad to see you. I'm sure about that. And then one quick thing. Somebody told me I'm just so terrible at promotion and or self promotion. So I'm trying to get a little better. Y'all see this? Can y'all see the screaming white woman on the screen?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know why they picked this picture. I'm not crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to them. So I have a new piece in Yes Magazine, co-wrote it with a student organizer, Oren, out here in Atlanta, about what I call the rise and fall, the Emory student encampment, but how students have connected the issues of Palestine and Cop City and police violence. It is a must read. A must read. See, isn't that self-promotion? It's a
Where's the
must
link?
read.
Can someone drop the link in the chat?
Oh, I can drop the link in the chat. My bad. That's a smart thing to do. Yes, let me drop the link. See, this self-promotion thing.
Nice. It's a must read, and we must go. And also,
wait a minute. Let me drop the link in the chat before you do that. Before you just mother trying to rush me.
And also check out Sundays this Sunday at 8 p.m. right before you watch House of Dragons.
What's the theme for this Sunday's, Doctor?
That's a good question. I did Nash this last Sunday. I'm gonna figure out something. Y'all could give me some ideas, and we'll figure it out together.
I did like that last House of Dragons beat. That shit was hot.
Yeah, that damn dragon came after. He's like, that was wild.
Like, okay, I like that. Right. I like that.
All right. And also Supercell. That's another binge watcher with black people.
I haven't seen that one. Is that good? Should I watch that really?
It's all right. If you like, it's all right.
All right.
It's decent. I know a good friend that got sickle cell, so that was pretty dope how they use that as a superpower. All right. With that said, no, it's time to go. It's like 4 minutes after.
Not gonna do
so real quick. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And we out. Have a great weekend, y'all. Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
There's a steam beat that's coming after you. You can dig it. You can open back your feelings to me. So DJs spin the sound. There ain't no way that you're gonna measure for measure with your love soul's pleasure, like a